having a pretty good season this year, Andy.
By the look of this lot, you are too.
Well, we've got a good team out in the field. You want to go meet them?
Sure. So what do you grow here?
We've got broccolis, collies over there, carrots, you name it. We harvest it today, catch, and it's in the stores tomorrow.
So you guys are the midfielders of the fruit and veg?
At Spot Shed, we grow it,
We sell it, you save.
Giving this season everything we've got. Just try and stop us. Don't miss the excitement of West Coast Fever at RAC Arena. Tickets on sale now at ticketek.com.au. Giving this season everything we've got. Just try and stop us. Don't miss the excitement of West Coast Fever at RAC Arena. Tickets on sale now at ticketek.com.au.
Bodies
Everyone's on the
everywhere.
floor.
Yep, bodies everywhere.
It's going to be wet and slippery. I'd be calling some time for that one after this one. But
Carter and Foster on the ground.
yes, yeah, Darren Gillespie slipping over.
Yeah, so
Messy.
well, in my opinion, they need the court clean.
Yes.
Wiped here. So good call by the umpire on the far side of the court. And 6 bodies go down in a matter of seconds. And you can just see, as you say, a long tournament, fatigue sets in. But
Yeah.
in terms of the role of the coach here, it's making sure, do you not think, that the players are stepping out onto the court, and irrespective of what's happening, that there is the ability still to execute the basic skills irrespective and stay in play.
Oh.
Don't bring the umpire into it.
For sure, there's no reason why an umpire should actually need to be involved in the game. Doesn't matter what day of the week it is in this championship. I mean, the ability for you to get on or off the body, show the umpire if there is a contact. There's no real need to get an umpire involved in the game or have them control what it is that happens.
Good finish from Davis, and again South Australia. So they're having a nice little run here. The attacking play, it'll be an obstruction or a contact on the ball from behind. So Wells will get another look at this, and we'll finish with it. Confident shot at the post. Got a beautiful style in action. Clayton Wells, South Australian goal shooter. Minute 40. Queensland, just a patience here. Carlson. Jordan goes to the pocket, he's ignored, so they'll swing across through the middle corridor now. Then stayed. No, incorrect. Sorry, Nash Hosking it was. What a Queensland look like when Carter isn't on the court?
Oh, I think it's a different movement. Callum Brown probably is not as strong with the body, so it means that they don't have a quick execution of letting the ball go from probably higher up the court. So we're hopefully going to see. I like the angles that the goal was run and the mid-court run. So I think they're not going to have any issues in getting the ball to circle edge, but it does mean that they need to get the ball to circle edge and they don't have that easy outlet pass.
So the final minute of the third quarter unfolds. There's Callum Brown, who we were just referring to. Quick ball offload from Sam Carlson, and it's intercepted by Wood. So through court, South Australia. It'll be a South Australian ball. Umpire indicates 30 seconds. Needs to hit the 30 mark, surely, South Australia here. Lovely drive into the pocket, Wells front space. This is the range he took from before, and it goes again.
Looks comfortable from out there.
Yeah, he does. It's under the ring.
Yeah, nice, simple, easy technique. Gets the ball, turns around, has the shot.
I say it nicely. It's the precious shot under the ring. Yeah, there'll be contact, though. So this will be a shot again after the siren, not dissimilar to the way we finished the second quarter. It'll go to Wells. Well, it looked good from our angle. Unfortunately, it doesn't fall for the South Australian shooter. And we will head in now to the final break of this game. It's definitely Queensland owning each quarter at the moment. They lead by 22 goals. Let's see what South Australia can do in this final quarter. Back in just a moment. So big game here. Day 4 of AMMNA Championships with Queensland. Have been dominating through this first 3 quarters, 52-30. And they'll be staring down the barrel, you guess, of a win in this final 15 minutes. I guess the question for me, Dan, as the two sides come back out onto court for this last 15, what do South Australia salvage in this last 15? I mean, we know it's a long game, so there's been a lot of substitutions, rolling subs in resting bodies, but surely South Australia have to take something out of this final 15 minutes.
Yeah, I think when you come into a championship, you have goals, and probably for them was to make the top 4. That's gone for them now. But there's still some individual things, stuff you want to achieve as a team, and I think it's important that they still continue to look at putting it out there. You want to continue to do all the work that you possibly can. They'd want to win out of this championship. So, knocking off a big scalp of Western Australia, Victoria, or New South Wales in one of the last games, causing some damage to the top 4, that would be seriously a big goal for them in putting some good branded netball and what they want to do for the future out onto the court.
Well, let's see what they can deliver in the final 15. And every time I feel like I've gone to beg the question of them, unfortunately the ball has been thrown away. Back in at wing of defence. So Hosking moves into centre for Queensland. Jack Jordan, he's been my man this game there. He's ball in hand. Callum Brown remains on after Lachlan Carter had an impressive couple of, or 2.5, should I say, close to 3 quarters in at goal shooter for Queensland. Brown, under a couple of jumping moments from the South Australian defence, both obstruction. So steadies under the post for, oh, goodness gracious, I was going to say for an easy gimme, and it's one of those precious shots, Dan.
It is. We've seen a few misses today. But the other thing with this is what I'm interested to see is how the youngsters from Queensland cope without having Lachlan as a target down the end. They now have to do the work on the outside of the circle, run their legs through the court. They're going to have goals of taking out one of the big scouts for the rest of the week as well, and I think this quarter is really important to them to see what it is and what brand of netball they can put out of the court. And I'd be looking to push this game out to a 30-35 goal margin and really send a message to the other 3.
Couldn't quite keep that ball in play, Wells. Just slightly too far for the reach of his arm. Queensland now into attack. Oh, gee. Close ball, contested by Foster. So he'll stand out of play. Unlucky on that. Ormisha, Hoskins. Jordan into the pocket. Front option used. Another contact call. So the penalty will be set. Clever work by Brown to roll forward as well. And they're just unable to finish. You could see the frustration as soon as he took the shot. And then the late challenge. So contact.
Yeah, South Australia really struggling to find a connection through the middle of the court. Great defensive pressure from Queensland, but once they can finally break it through that middle section, I think they're finding it easier access to the circle. But it's really hard for them to transition into the front third.
Loose ball, but it's picked up by Hosking. Leonard in at goal defence, and then Jordan, well, as soon as he released that ball, he flung his head around. He knew he missed the target. They come up with it, though, Queensland.
But I think that play also shows how important it is for a goaler to be ready as the ball's coming through the court instead of having to make the move at the end. You've really got to do all the preparation work. That is the difference probably between Lockie Carter and Callum Brown, is that being on the end of that pass when that ball's coming down instead of having to make the move when the ball's already down there.
Jack Jordan, what age are we talking here?
I still think he's 19.
Oh, I'll tell you what, he is the star of the future, this kid.
I agree. Look, Nash Hosking in at centre, I think he's still 18.
Wow.
Jordan Webber got a goal attack, I think is 19 as well. And the 2 down the back, 19, 20, 21. Fantastic for Queensland. I am looking forward to what it is that they can put out onto netball, because at that age, if you can cope with the big boys in the big league, there's a bright future for you.
Lovely change of direction and late challenge from Johnson. So Alan Davies.
Yeah, Alan Davies, yep.
He's seen out the whole game at goal attack. Jack Jordan being called across to the umpire here. Just checking if he has blood, which I believe he does on the right-hand side of his face. So I'll have to quickly make a rolling stub. Well identified by the umpire. So Carlson will come on into wing attack as Jack Jordan, my man at the moment, runs out to the bathrooms to get himself sorted. 55-31. Bit of a bib malfunction. And back into play. Brown on the baseline. They use the front option though. Callum Brown, this is the shot he'll want to miss. Won't want to miss. I don't mean that. We'll want to sort out because he was very frustrated with the previous shot in that very space. And then too fast, wasn't it? So Queensland another chance here. Ormisha, back space used. Terrific ball. Hosking the fake. Nice little hand though. South Australia's Ben State.
Nice little pop there from Brown just to find himself under the post, but cannot find the goal ring.
Well, I reckon he's got in his own head. That's the problem. You've got to have the confidence every time. No matter what you've done on the last shot, all you're doing is rectifying. Don't worry about it. You've got to move on. As Catherine Cox always says, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. All right? I don't think she actually came up with that saying.
Look, that's what you train for, and that's the reason why as a goalie you go out on court, you put your shots up, is that you've got to trust the instinct and the mechanism that your body goes through and the mechanics that it has, and that every time you put the ball up you think it's going to go through the ring, and when it doesn't work you chase the ball up and you go again. If you don't take the shot, you don't look to the post, if you don't do all those other things, turnovers come from that as well. So
Jordan Webb, lovely delivery of that shot, mid-range. Now South Australia, 32 goals on the scoreboard. Wells didn't like the look of it, and it's interesting, isn't it, because he's taken 2 or 3 that we were talking up in the third quarter from that exact range, and then decides he doesn't like that one. So now
turnover ball.
Yep.
It creates a turnover ball.
Yep.
So I think you've just got to trust your instinct. If you're a goaler and you're in there, know that you can put the ball through the ring. You've already done it.
It's all in the head, isn't it?
Yeah. Precious.
So back to the line, Leonard. Hosking, the challenge though, a little late from South Australia. For me, it was a definite contact. And the umpire has called it. Nice and strong in the middle, isn't he, Hosking?
Yeah, he's not just strong, he's also got some speed to burn, to turn it on, and can hit the circle edge fantastically. Has really great ball skills, and like we said before, he's still quite young as well, so there's going to be lots that he can still learn.
They get there in the end, Queensland. They'll be their centre pass, so just about halfway through the final quarter here. Queensland have certainly owned this game, leading by 10 at quarter time, pushing that lead out at both half and 3/4 time. There's a perfectly placed ball into the pocket from Webb. And again, the swing, Brown on the baseline, well covered from the South Australian defence. And they get there in the end, though. Obstruction, the call. And then the offensive contact. So Foster, who has been menacing up court and getting a number of contacts against him, eventually gets one to go his way. Now the reward must come. Cross through the middle, good ball. Can't quite be held. Unfortunately, Giorgetto. And so Queensland onto the loose scraps and quickly fly through court. Carlson mid-range and then sights Carter, who's rolled onto the court. Would you have left Callum Brown out there? Look, I don't. You know, Gary Passion knows his line and what he's trying to do. Lovely first ball contest from Ormisha.
Yes, I personally I would have 6 goals up in this quarter as well. I don't know that Lockie Carter, I think he's going to play out the rest of the week for Queensland. I would have left Callum Brown out there, but don't know there may be other injuries that we're managing, or he's into goal attack.
So yeah,
I know Gillespie's coming on into goal attack. So, you know, it may depend. I'm not sure if Callum maybe is managing an injury as well.
Possibly.
And the other things that are going on, but
possibly.
You know, for Queensland, they're going to have to pull up against Victoria, Western Australia and New South Wales over the next 3 games.
Maybe
So
percentage also important as Foster takes a look at the cross-court ball. Too much on it and it falls to South Australia. So quick through court, cross, quick hands, Wells. Top of the circle. Well, that's a great transitional play from South Australia and a nice easy finish at the end comes from Clayton Wells. It was a turnover ball. Hunting Johnston and a quick vision, long ball in. Well, it beat Lennon, didn't it? South Australia, a little bit of energy here. Wells over the reach of Leonard, but drops that one beautifully through the middle. So a couple of goals in a row for South Australia.
yeah, Mark Nichols now returning to the court at wing defence. Oh,
That's
quick.
in the back, though. In the back. That was a clear contact.
But I think that also turns to the importance about trying to set yourself up in a good spot as well on the goaler or for the goaler, so that it's not just a T-boned ball where you're risking the fact of putting that arm into the back of the player.
Nice little reach from Johnston, deflection, and they're going to call the contact, bring it back to the post. Wells, 5 minutes on the clock to finish out this game. Day 4 action, and a lovely shot. Finished then by Davies. Oh, yeah, Johnston was hunting that down, wasn't it? The cross-court bounce pass.
Yep.
Don't tell me which coach actually encourages that.
Yeah, not sure, but he's impressive for me. I love his footwork that he's got. The 2 that are in the back at the moment, slight of frame, but they're really able to get up and around the body and hunt forwards as well at the same time, keeping their vision up. And it's dangerous not just for the future, but probably throughout the rest of the week for the other teams as they get tired. The kids with the springs are going to be looking at taking ball, and they've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, correct. Nice challenge again. Ball in the air. Lands to Queensland, though. Or Wayward Foster over the back. And contact will be the call, so Carter will set again for the penalty. I reckon Dion Giorgetto's come on well for South Australia. He's given them some real punch. Him and Cross connecting quite well in attack. Wells on the lead, under pressure from Johnston. Cross, so there's a great passage of play from South Australia and a good finish at the post from Davis.
Yeah,
I'm going to call him the youngster because he looks young. Is he young?
Yeah, he is young as well. I think
Right.
he's up from their under-20s
Oh, well, there you
threes from
go.
last year as well. So lots of talent here from the young group throughout multiple of the Western Australia, Victoria, all bringing some youngsters through into the open grade, and they're all holding their own as well. It's nice to see the gap between our second groups as well closing as well. It's been a bit of a challenge in previous years to go from the 23s or reserves division and actually be able to cope in the open men's division. The good thing is now that that young group, or those that are not or haven't, it's their first year in the opens, they're able to get out onto court, show what they've got, and actually cope in these games and the strength of the bodies.
All about the pathway progressing, closing the gaps. The AMMNA Championships 2023. Bendat Stadium here in WA. Another men's open game, should I say, coming up after this one as the home side, WA, take on Victoria. Promises to be a beauty, as was that intercept from Davis. 2 minutes 30 on the clock here. It's been a close last quarter here. Queensland leading the way, but South Australia have fought. It's a 10-7 final term as a wayward ball from Carlson. Almost fatigued, wasn't it? Cross-court ball.
Yeah, early drive probably didn't help, so the ball's having to go backwards, and just comes down to wanting to get the ball to play.
Oh, long ball. Sorry to cut you off, Dan. Got excited in that moment, but Leonard got too excited and took the intercept. So still the energy defensively here from Queensland. Wells out along the baseline. Look at the pressure. Queensland have them all congested to one side. Davis finds a way, though. And a good finish at the post. So 10-8 this quarter. Queensland by 2. Of course, they'll go on to win this game. But all eyes on what South Australia can do. Try and win a quarter off Queensland. Here's a chance for them. A minute 22 to play. They need a couple of goals to level at 10 apiece in this final quarter. Cross, little outside hand. Gets the ball. We'll go back, though, inside the circle, offside the call. A minute to play. Wells needs the score here, and it goes through. So a 10-9 final quarter score. Callum Brown back on at goal shooter. So Carter just a quick moment on the court. Foster through the mess. Well, it was a big mess, wasn't it? It was a mess of Queenslanders, and it landed right in the hands of their defenders. 30 seconds here. Foster out of play. 2-on-1 inside the circle. Gillespie, a quick give and go. Back, has a think about it. Looks at the... Gee, wow, that was a flat shot, wasn't it?
Yeah, a flat shot away from Gillespie, but it just looked like never going in.
So last roll of the dice for South Australia. 12 seconds to play ball through court. Always love these final moments, how much sides practice these. Foster, vision needs to go down court. 9 seconds. Foster goes long, way long, too early. Wells, 3 seconds to line up and drop this one. And a good finish on the siren for South Australia, a final goal. But the game was all about Queensland, wasn't it, from start to finish? And an enormous victory for them, 62-40 over South Australia. And they set the game up, didn't they, in that first quarter, 20-10. They pushed that lead out by 17 goals at the halfway mark. And then out to 22 at three-quarter time. They go on to have a 22-goal victory. So South Australia finding something special in that last quarter to go toe for toe. So there you have it. Queensland, a win over South Australia. Dan?
Yeah, look, Queensland quite impressive. I think that the remaining three teams going into finals will want to be aware of what it is that they can put out onto court. Positive signs there for Queensland. South Australia, look, they'll be really disappointed going down by 3 in the first game to Queensland that they played just yesterday, and now unfortunately losing by 22. Probably not the result that they wanted to have. You know, some positive signs from them. They're able to get the ball through court at time, but a lack of consistency really doesn't, unfortunately, help the scoreline. And, you know, Queensland really just too good today.
Well, Gary Passion, the coach of the Queensland Suns, brings them into the middle of the court. Of course, they'll be thrilled with that performance today. Queensland too good over South Australia by 22 goals.